One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Shit. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their morning so far. I definitely know that we are over here. Great to see all you legends up in the building. Shout out to everybody. So check it out. We got an interesting one, and we got a wild lineup for this morning, kind of all over the place. EU says Ukraine to choose its own destiny. You guys know that the title can only fit so much, so I had to like really consolidate it. I wasn't able to speak about all these different stories we're about to do. You know what I mean? China's tariff deadline for 90 days, I believe it was set for. We have that update. As well as the Maxwell transcripts were denied by a judge. So it's going to be interesting. So we're going to go ahead and start off with, I'm going to tell you guys the lineup this morning. We got breaking news. Well, we're following breaking news, okay? 2 were killed in a shooting at a Target in Austin, Texas yesterday, and that was breaking news. I'm going to show you guys that clip from yesterday, but then we're going to have the actual update on today, or from yesterday evening, late in the evening. They came out and gave an update. I tell you guys I'm always going to update you guys when I break news and talk about news, all this kind of shit. I like to keep you guys updated with all that. Then we're going to be going Bureau of Labor Statistics. President Trump nominates E.J. Antoni as new department head. So we have a new Trump pick. As well as U.S. steel plant explodes. As you guys know, I think we talked about that a little bit yesterday during the live show. I believe Gary or someone was saying in the chat was saying there was a U.S. steel plant that just got exploded an hour ago. You know, it might have been Steve Posey. I can't remember. Anyways, we have that update. Second worker now confirmed dead on the explosion, and 5 remain in critical condition. And then we're going to be going into the judge denying the Maxwell grand jury transcripts, then into the China tariff deadline by 90 days. Then what we have, the main thing that we're talking about here is EU says Ukraine should be able to choose its own destiny ahead of Trump's meeting with Putin on Friday. So Friday is the actual meeting with Putin. Supposedly it's set over there in Alaska. So anyways, before we get into the madness, man, I can't thank Moto Bomb for coming in, by the way. He rated us. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to my man right there. Appreciate you. And everyone that's hanging out in here, man. I'm very honored. I see you, Papa D, up in the building. Appreciate you for hanging out with us, you guys. We got Go Fast Racing up in the building, as well as America Uncensored, brother Steve Easy. Kind sir, great to see you. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well. Great to see you as well. Hardwire, that's right. Great to see you. We got Papa D saying Orange Cat. Okay, I'm in the right place. Yes, that is Lucy Ball. So she's a redhead. You know what I mean? We got Brown Chicken up in the building. What's up? Great to see you, by the way. We got Perez, my man. Good morning. Good morning. AU, brother AU as well. Let's see here. We got Sick Bastard as well. Great to see you, my man. Always appreciate your support as well. Great show this morning, you guys, by the way. We got brother Gary. We got, let's see here. I'm just making sure I'm catching up. Steve Posey as well. Great to see you. Good morning. Good morning. We got Charles Darwin over there from Down Under. You know what I mean? For him, it's not Topless Taco Tuesday. For him, it's early Wednesday morning, like 1 in the morning for him right now. And Provo, my man, saying, fresh stream. Yes, sir, it is a fresh stream. Great to see you. We got Rob's neighbor as well. Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you. We got Pablo as well. Good morning to everybody. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the madness, real quick, I got to do my call to actions. Please make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Check it out, though. This is the part that there is money involved somewhere, because I can't do this shit for free, you know what I mean? We're 100% funded by you guys in the membership program. The Breakfast Club, you guys literally make this shit happen. So I'm very, very appreciative of all the members that are here, a part of the channel, supporting the movement, you know what I mean? So please consider becoming a member starting at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is the way that we do it, man. This is the way that we do it. So I'm very appreciative of that. Let's see, a little side note. Follow my Instagram right here at BallVolveTV, where I post everything that's behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, and breaking news, all sorts of shit. Great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And last but not least here, all donations, super chats, super stickers, gifted membership signups, all of these things are going to be presented live onto the show and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube brutal 30% cut that they take from our hard-earned cash here, well, check it out. We have these platforms you guys can donate to, and I will equally give you guys a shout out over there. And I've got my emails ready to go. So if anything comes through, I will absolutely read it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the cycle here. We're going to go ahead and start this off with the breaking news yesterday regarding the Target shooting. There was 2 originally. I have no idea if there's been there is actually an update. It's 3 that are dead now. Originally, they broke the news and only knew about 2. Okay, so I just looked at. All right.
Live now from Fox, everyone. I'm your host, Mike Bay.
Good morning, Tiffany. Great to see you.
Continuing to track the breaking news out of Austin, Texas. A reported shooting at a local Target there. Here is the scene right now.
I like that name, by the way, Brown Chicken. I like that.
We can show you where the photographer had to step back just a little bit. They were in the Target parking lot a moment ago, but now it looks like they are across the street from the scene. And the earliest report was that 4 were injured in this shooting, and now still very fluid right now. And especially during these breaking news times, the numbers can definitely change, and we will continue.
And they did change. They did change. He's right.
To update you here on this matter right now. But again, a very fluid situation that is happening at this Austin, Texas Target. And there was an active manhunt going on where...
Yeah, when we were watching you yesterday evening, Hardwire, he was over at my pad here, and I had you on the TV because he was here. You know, I wanted to show him, you know, that you're up there live right now. And then he was like, oh, dude, send me the link, you know, so...
Police were giving the update on what the suspect
What's up, brother
was
Solo?
being accused of here in this shooting. They were saying they were looking for a white male that had khaki shorts on, possibly with a floral Hawaiian shirt. And we are continuing to track this here for you on Live Now from Fox. But again, breaking news at the scene here of this Target. And you can see multiple law enforcement agencies are out and about here in the parking lot. You got a PetSmart there near the Target as well. In this
Listen, I'm going to be really honest. Austin, Texas has become a total shithole.
Small area, but very, very dramatic moments here played out.
Same with all, you know, Houston, Dallas, all that bullshit. They all became mainstream. When it was rural back then, it was actually probably pretty fucking nice, pretty fucking awesome. And then you had a whole bunch of people infiltrate the fuck out of Texas and ruined it.
Earlier at the Target that we are learning of, and this situation continues to be fluid at this time.
Steve.
We are monitoring, though, the breaking news here for you. Still, this is an active scene, and you can see the photographer right now that is continuing to be on the move here as they're trying to just get all of the angles right now to this story. And
let me go ahead and see. We'll skip ahead here.
On what is
get live, or not live. get actual video.
What is going on here?
What a scene. I mean,
And here we go. You can just tell maybe from
see, I want to know why the shooting what happened. You know what I mean? Like, was it a gang ordeal? Was it a guy randomly shooting and killing 4 innocent people? Like, what happened here?
the body language here of the police that's
What's up, brother
maybe
Lee
the
Lance?
scene
Good
isn't
morning.
active anymore, or maybe the manhunt isn't still going on, where you're seeing a more relaxed presence from the police. We sometimes always look at that first to see what the body language is of the police officers going on during these breaking news situations. But
Okay, so we're not going to watch the whole thing there. No need to when we have the actual update here. But I did want to get some context there and get some video behind what is happening there on the scene. And now this is back on the scene. Yesterday evening, they had a little press, or yesterday afternoon, they had a little press conference and spoke about it.
Chief of Police, Austin.
That's them, not me. Fix your audio.
Chief of Lisa Davis, Chief of Police for Austin. The police were initially called here at 2:15 p.m. for
That's the chief? Wait, she's the chief?
Austin. Chief of
She said, guy said, you need to speak up. She.
Lisa Davis, Chief of Police for Austin. The police were initially called here at 2:15 p.m. for a hotshot call. Officers arrived within 4 minutes. When officers arrived, they were met with 3 people that were shot inside the parking lot of Target. The suspect fled the scene, stole a car from the scene, took that car, wrecked that car, then hijacked another car. He was then found by Austin PD in South Austin, where he was taken into custody after a tasing.
After a tasing? After you just kill? Yes.
We have 3 people that are deceased. This is a very sad day for
So, yes, she just said it was updated to 3 people are deceased. At this
Austin. It's a very sad day for us all. And my condolences go out to the families. At this point, looking at the suspect, we have a male.
What's up, Arm James? Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you, by the way. Always appreciate you hanging out, by the way. Great to see you in here. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Suspect, who appears to be 32 years of age, does have a mental health history. But all of that is very new. This is a new, very early in the investigation at this point. But he has been apprehended. I'd like to thank our public safety partners again. It is quite amazing to arrive on scene here and see fire and EMS, Austin AISD, all here helping and supporting. At this point, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Chief Lutgritz for some words. Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
no kidding. Papa Penguin just said it absolutely right there. Of course she's the chief. It's Austin. Can't have the chief of police being being an in-shape dude. Has to be a fat white woman because of the patriarchy and racism. Yes, accurate.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Very accurate, bro.
Robert Lukritz, Chief of Austin Travis County EMS. Austin Travis County EMS received our initial calls at around 2:19 p.m. 4 minutes later, first unit
Man, this guy looks smaller than me.
arrived on scene at 2:23 p.m. The initial responding units arrived and found 3 victims. Two of those were pronounced on scene by Austin Travis County EMS. One was transported to a local hospital where they were pronounced at the hospital.
What's up, brother Todd? Good morning, kind sir.
In addition, one additional individual was treated on scene for unrelated injuries.
Yes, sir,
At that
Motobomb.
point, I'll turn it back over to Chief Davis.
Sorry, do you have anything?
So
right,
that
we'll take a
dude
few-
added absolutely nothing.
Questions, and again, understanding this is a very new investigation.
We know what led to this. Hijacked, and I want to know where that car was hijacked and if the person who was driving that car was injured.
At this point, we believe that was one of the people that was shot, but it was in the Target parking lot where the first car was taken. The first car crashed. The subject then ran into, I believe it was a Volkswagen dealership to take another car.
And if that
Real quick, we got Motobomb saying 28 likes so far. Yes. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It's free to do so. I know it's very laborious and hard work, you know what I mean? But I really appreciate the engagement. You know what I mean? Let me go and back that up, that little part that she just said right there.
It was shot, but it was in the Target parking lot where the first car was taken. The first car crashed. The subject then ran into, I believe it was a Volkswagen dealership to take another car.
and if that
Wow.
car was
So
hijacked
this was a whole carjacking ordeal.
from the Volkswagen.
I believe so, yes.
What led?
what led to the shooting?
We don't know if there was an altercation or what. At this point, we're looking at video. People that are within Target are moving out of Target. We're moving some over here to the PetSmart and the Dollar General. If their car was involved or anywhere near the scene, they're going to have to stay here until the investigation's over and get another ride out of the area. But at this point, we're not sure what. Not that anything could, perpetrate this, but
no signs if it was random or if there was something that led up to it.
Exactly. Yes.
So,
I can't hear you.
So we're not going to get any more out of that. That's literally what we're going to get. Now she's just going to repeat the same facts that we found out just now. Okay, so we'll keep you guys updated if we find out anything on that and the motive. As you guys know, we keep you guys updated here on the world news, geopolitics, and American politics, of course, as well. Breaking news, all of that great shit. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on into a short little segment here. We're going to be talking about a Trump pick. So President Trump nominates E.J. Antoni as a new department head.
Right now to some breaking news as President Trump has appointed a new bureau chief of the labor statistics there, as we are learning more information here on Live Now from Fox of it, saying, I am pleased on social media nominating highly respected economist Dr. E.J. Antoni as the next commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Our economy is booming and E.J. will ensure the numbers released are honest and accurate. I know E.J. Antoni will do an incredible job in this new role. Congratulations, E.J. So you can see this photo posted on social media by the president, and this comes just several weeks after President Trump removed the head of the agency that provides and produces the monthly jobs figure report that showed a slow hiring in July and a much weaker May and June that previously reported. Trump said that Erica McIntarfer, the director of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, who was appointed by the former president Joe Biden, would be removed as it provided no evidence for the charge, saying that some of the numbers were rigged. The charge that the data was faked is an explosive one that threatens to undercut the political legitimacy of the U.S. government's economic data, which has been seen as the gold standard of economic measurements globally. A live picture right now at the White House as we are learning more information about this. Former guest here on Live Now from Fox, the PhD, chief economist there at the Heritage Foundation, most recently now in the role as the Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner. So learning that new information right here on Live Now from Fox. We'll continue to break down what it means in terms of his role with the White House, with Trump, and of course in terms of those numbers as we'll continue to bring them to you. All right, we're approaching.
Shit. All right, so now we're going to give you guys an update on the U.S. Steel plant that exploded up there in Pennsylvania. Go ahead and bring that to you guys here in a second. But hey, before we do that though,
maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. Well, he said it. You know what I mean? I didn't do that, but. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the U.S. steel plant.
Craft here. Got to get out, though, to the Pittsburgh area. We're getting a live update right now, a press conference from officials on that deadly explosion at the U.S. steel plant earlier today. Let's listen.
Did successfully find one worker and rescued that worker earlier today. I believe that might have happened right at about the time of our last briefing. Unfortunately,
So they're saying one dead, one missing, 10 injured, and now that one missing has been updated on the title here, saying second worker now confirmed dead. So 2 dead, 10 injured. No, 5 remain in critical condition, 10 total injured.
as the rescue and the search continued here this evening, I'm here to report that we do have now a second deceased worker. Our search crews, both locally, U.S. Steel, as well as our urban search and rescue arm of this side of the.
What's up, Brother Frank? Good morning and happy Topless Taco Tuesday. Great to see you. And go fast. I got you, my man. I got you. Of course, my man. That's what we do. All right.
State and assistance from PEMA. They worked hand in hand together at the scene to work very methodically through that scene based on information shared as to where they thought the best location would be of the worker, and they were able to successfully find him, unfortunately deceased. That worker has been extricated and is now in the hands of the medical examiner's office. I do not have any further information regarding that worker, but that does officially bring our recovery side of the incident to a close. Again, as the U.S. Steel folks have mentioned previously, plant operations are stable. So I'll just do a quick recap for you on the numbers. I believe it was 10:51 was the initial 911 call this morning. There were approximately 14 fire departments from the outside that were engaged with U.S. Steel Fire Department, as well as about 20 plus emergency medical service agencies as well. They have been working together for many, many hours now at this point.
You know, I don't know the answer to that, Lappy, but something like that, I wouldn't even be fucking surprised. But yeah, I will look into that though.
To 10 folks that were transported and treated, 5 of which, last update, are critical but stable. 5 were treated and released. And then lastly, and most importantly, 2 deceased workers from this incident. It does bring our incident from an emergency standpoint to a close. Certainly doesn't close the incident as a whole. There's lots to be investigated, validate everything that occurred here. And our crews will continue to be here assisting U.S. Steel in that process of reviewing what occurred. I believe that's all the updates that I have. Certainly.
Real quick, Papa Penguin, super reputable source, by the way, and I'm not saying that sarcastic. I mean that for real. Like, if he says it, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. Yes, U.S. Steel is the company Nippon Steel was purchasing. Shit. Thank you for that clarification there.
Allow U.S. Steel to speak if they have any comments to add to that.
What's up, Brother Dean? Good morning.
So as the chief said, really our focus at this point in time has been...
If it's going to be a thumbs down, you know what I mean? Make sure you guys hit the thumbs down twice to really let me know, you know. Anyways, back to this.
The rescue efforts for our employees and the treatment for those injured. So everything that we've been doing right now, and so proud and thankful for our emergency services and all the communities that have come together to help in that effort and getting our employees the treatment quick and expedite them to the local hospitals and all the rescue efforts. That's been all of our efforts at this point. As the chief indicated, now we'll start the investigation. So we really have no further updates as far as...
No further updates on how and why this happened. To me in the video, it looked like a pipe bursting underground or something. I don't know. I don't know what. Obviously, I have no idea. I saw one video from afar, and it's like, it looks like these fucking things are filmed with like potatoes, bro. It's insane.
As what caused the event, because all of our efforts have been right now on rescue.
Good morning, Mark. Good to see you, kind sir.
We might be able to take a question or two, but there's not going to be much more we can. So.
What would be the first step in the investigation now that recovery is?
Don't worry, we're going to be getting into Russia, Ukraine here in a few. 2 more stories, and then we're going into what's happening with Ukraine.
So we'll be assembling a team, and then we will be starting to do interviews with employees that were directly involved with the incident. We'll bring in outside experts as well as our own company experts that we've flown in to help with the investigation, but we're just getting that underway.
Oh, man, Papa.
Yeah, right now
That's
we cannot. I mean, we had an explosion at the 1314 battery, but the extent of the damage is not known because all of our efforts have been focused on recovery.
Are you going to be making coke tomorrow yourself?
So one of our coke units, the first unit coke batteries are still producing. The rest of the plant is stable and secure, so there's no additional impact as far as any gas or utilities. So we will be making limited coke, but that's not our priority tonight.
Would you describe it as catastrophic damage?
Right now, no. We don't know. We can't describe it of anything yet. Until we can get in there and assess what that damage is, we do not know that just yet.
Okay, so we're not going to go ahead and continue on there. Here's the actual video, by the way. They actually show it. Okay, so you're going to see... Hopefully they don't commentate over it because I want to be able to commentate over it. So as soon as you see these burn-offs going off, I mean, it's trying to get rid of pressure or something in these moments. I mean, it's excess, essentially, usually when it's a burn-off. But at this point, I think this is a pressurized ordeal. Then watch. You'll see.
Okay, so what we're watching right now,
boom.
This is from a live...
See, that right there makes me think that a pipe actually busted. You know what I mean? Like, it could be a 6-inch pipeline, a 4-inch pipeline. I mean, pipelines, they get them pretty small sometimes. A 4-inch pipeline's only this big around, you know what I mean? So, anyways.
Stream of the site itself. And you can see there the very dense gray-black smoke emanate there from the plant itself. So this explosion at this U.S. Steel plant near Pittsburgh in Clairton,
That's a great question, Pablo. I'll help you ask it. Did anyone go to Sturgis in the chat? Let me know. Let us know. We're asking. All right.
2 people dead and sent at least several others to hospitals today and heavily damaged.
That's what they're considered, or what they're called, not coiling towers, right? Or you know what I mean?
Sprawling facility
Or
with
cooling.
emergency workers, we just learned, wrapping up their recovery operations. The recovery part of this story is now over, according to emergency officials there on the scene. They said they have now brought this incident from an emergency standpoint to a close. I want to show you more of these aerial pictures from the scene. Take a look at these.
Mark, that is a fucking W comment, bro. That is funny. Shit. Hit the like button. Let's get the likes up.
So this is what we know. Also, one worker was pulled from the wreckage hours after the explosion. You saw
Wow. You think it's a 10-inch steel pipe? What makes you think that?
how there sent black smoke spiraling into the midday sky in the Mon Valley. It's a region of the state synonymous with steel for more
I have not seen this video footage, this particular right here.
than a century. Now, the Allegheny County Emergency Services said a fire at the plant started around 10:51 a.m. local time. Now, that explosion was followed by several smaller blasts, and they could be felt in the nearby community. They prompted county officials to warn residents to stay away from the scene so emergency workers could respond.
See, like
there.
all those little pipelines right there, these aren't big 8-inch fucking pipelines. These look like they're maybe 6-inch, or 4-inch. Honestly, these look super small. I mean, when I was moving oil, my main pipeline was 12 inches. Then it went into a 10-inch pipeline, and then it got reduced to eventually an 8-inch hose and an 8-inch manifold. So, yeah. And then there would be times that our shit wouldn't connect with the ship correctly, so we would have to give them reducers. So we'd go from like if I have an 8-inch hose, but they only have a 6-inch connection or a 4-inch connection. Man, we used to deal with all that bullshit all the time. Yeah, it sucked. Anyways.
Now, at the very same plant, got to go back to some of the history at this
See,
plant.
look at those bigger pipelines. See those bigger pipelines? That's some fucking like 12-inch, 10-inch. Yeah.
Back in September of 2009, a maintenance worker was killed in an explosion at the very same plant. In July 2010, the following year, another explosion injured 14 employees and 6 contractors at the same plant. Now, according to online OSHA
I
records,
absolutely agree with that, Standing Bear. EU, let's just say EU completely. Obviously, NATO and the UN needs to be all defunded. All of them. Fuck them all. Fuck them all.
workplace fatalities. The last death at the plant was reported back in 2014 when a worker was burned and died after falling into a trench. Now, after that 2010 explosion, OSHA fined U.S. Steel and a subcontractor $175,000 for safety violations. Now, U.S. Steel...
Well, that's actually pretty fucking typical, is having a plant that fucking big. Yeah, you're going to have write-ups all the fucking time. It's just the way it is. We got Brother Beezer, old Beezer Geezer up in the building. Appreciate you hanging out with us from South Florida.
At the time, they appealed its citations and the money in fines. They were later reduced under a settlement agreement. Now, the plant, it's a massive industrial facility along the Monongahela River south of Pittsburgh. It's considered the largest coking operation in North America. It's one of 4 major U.S. steel plants in Pennsylvania. Now, the plant converts coal to coke. Coke is a key component in the steelmaking process. And to make coke, coal is baked in...
I didn't know that they actually use coke for like the actual... I think that's what it's actually called, is pet coke. But that's like the end fucking product of basically what oil gets reduced down to, because it gets reduced a million times. You know what I mean? Like it goes from jet, let's just say ethanol. I forget what it is, like ethanol or whatever. And then it goes, then diesel, then, I'm just clear, making it short. And then you've got gasoline, then diesel, something like that. Yep. And then you've got From there, you got, like, let's just say fuel oils, and then, which is bunkers for ships and shit like that. But, and then it goes and it reduces all the way down to what coke is, which is like the last byproduct of fucking, we actually can't burn it in America. In our waters, we're not allowed to burn it. But Japan does like a motherfucker. We sell that shit to them, and they use that shit to like fuel shit. So I didn't know that they used it for steel plants. Interesting.
Special ovens for hours at high temperatures
Not surprised, though.
to remove impurities that could otherwise weaken steel. And the process creates what is known as coke gas. It's made up of a lethal mix of methane, carbon dioxide, and carbon monoxide. So this is a major top headline we have been following throughout the course of the day here.
That's right, brown chicken. That's right. I appreciate you. And saying, am I not entertained? Well, shit. You know what I mean?
Emotional damage.
Might get a little emotional damage, though.
A very, very tragic set of circumstances at this plant, at this facility there in Clairton, Pennsylvania. We've been hearing from Governor Josh Shapiro on X saying he's been apprised of all of these developments. And then that very brief press conference, we now learned 2 fatalities after this explosion this morning there. So a hard start to the week for this community. And like I said, we'll be on the lookout for any more updates, any more live press conferences come tomorrow. No more will come, though, tonight. We were just learning there, according to official.
Shit. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on into the next ordeal here. We got the judge that is denying the release of Maxwell's grand jury transcript. So I've got that queued up, ready to go. Let's go ahead and bring this up on stage. Bam. All right.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. Let's get right to more of these top headlines. An update, pretty big one, on the Epstein-Maxwell saga. This is what we know. According to a judge's ruling today, transcripts of grand jury testimony that led to sex trafficking charges against Jeffrey Epstein's longtime confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell, well, they should not be released. That's according to that judge's ruling in New York today. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork with more details.
Grand jury records from the sex trafficking case of Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, will remain sealed. On Monday, a U.S. district judge denied the Department of Justice's request to release the material. Judge Paul Engelmeyer dismissed the DOJ's argument that the release of those documents would reveal new information about the crimes of Epstein and Maxwell, calling it, quote, demonstrably false. The ruling comes amid growing discontent from a part of President Trump's supporters, some of whom are upset with the DOJ investigation into the Epstein case. And Democrats, of course, are now accusing the president of focusing on other issues to distract from any possible political fallout.
Typical move by this president to create chaos and uncertainty and draw the attention from other issues like Jeffrey Epstein.
While he's weaponizing government against innocent people, he's bending over backwards to give treatment to the worst sex offender or the worst sexual predator in America, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Before the president's re-election, he vowed to make Epstein-related documents public and also accused Democrats of covering up information regarding the case. Vice President J.D. Vance speaking on the topic on Fox Sunday Morning Futures.
Yo, real quick, we got Tiffany Lance coming in hot on the, she's saying for $2, Leonite's dues. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you for the Venmo there, Tiffany. I really, really appreciate that. Dues paid, absolutely. Thank you,
President
guys.
Trump has demanded full transparency from this, and yet somehow the Democrats are attacking him and not the Biden administration, which did nothing.
Meantime, a separate judge is said to still be considering the DOJ's bid to unseal different grand jury records from the Epstein case as the story continues. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
Evan, thanks so much. Let's bring into the conversation a familiar face to you by now who's been helping us and guiding us through this major story. That's, of course, Kalen Deese. He covers the Department of Justice for the Washington Examiner. He joins me. Kalen, thanks for being with us. We had to get you on for this. So now what, I guess, is the question here. Is this a loss for the Trump DOJ today?
Well, it definitely seems like it's a loss from the way that things have
Now, this guy, I can't stand him. I can't stand him. I've seen him a million times on this program. You know, usually they bring on reoccurring guests. They don't bring on brand new fucking people every time. Most of the time they bring on reoccurring guests. Now, if it's specific to something, that they may bring in the person of interest or whatever, but for the most part, they really do use a lot of these analysts, examiners, all that kind of shit.
going so far in these transparency efforts that are now being panned as we see by a judge several times in his written opinion about this. We saw previously there was an effort to unseal some of the grand jury information from the 2000s case against Epstein. That's the one where he saw a 13-month sentence, where he was given a early release after being convicted for having sexual contact with a minor and someone who was around the age of 18. So we see that in that case, we didn't get any information from the judge there. Likewise, with Judge Paul Engelmeyer, he's not giving anything related to the Maxwell case. And obviously, she still has a pending appeal at the Supreme Court, but that didn't really seem to weigh too much into his decision-making here. He seemed to be focusing more on this assessment by the DOJ that there was a significant historical or public...
Hell yeah, real quick, it just updated, by the way. We have 28 in the chat and 31 likes. W to you guys, man. Big W's to the Breakfast Club. I appreciate you guys for the engagement.
Interest. He said that argument alone wasn't enough to buy this sort of information give from him, and that he even said further that there wasn't a whole lot of information in the grand jury transcripts that was relevant or new to what the administration was seeking. So definitely we are 2-0 on this. There's one more attempt with the actual Epstein criminal case to get that grand jury information.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Even Trump knew when he says, go get the transcripts, that was a political play, because he absolutely knows that none of these judges are going to give up the transcripts of the case. It's just not going to happen on any of these guys' side. It's just not going to happen. And he knows that. He knows that. And yeah, I really don't think anything is going to come out of this situation, this specific ordeal with the transcripts. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah. Anyways.
Caitlin, I want to set the scene here because throughout this story, I have asked you and I've discussed and I've reported it is extremely unorthodox and unusual for a federal judge in any circumstance to allow for the release of grand jury material, even if the U.S. government is asking for it. The Associated Press noted that very fact here. They said the district judge here, Paul Engelmeyer, he's an Obama appointee, said in a written decision that federal law almost never allows for the release of grand jury materials and that making the documents public casually was a bad idea. Why is that kind of the norm for the federal judiciary here? What is it intended to do? Protect sources and methods, protect victims? What? Why is it so unusual to see grand jury material?
Well, that's a great early assessment of what you were talking about there, protecting things as far as witnesses, people. Well, we know in this case that it was just a couple of law enforcement witnesses in the Epstein and Maxwell grand juries who were testifying. But the fact of the matter is that there were elements of this that involved also victims' names. And we even saw some letters from some of the victims that were of Maxwell and Epstein, who were saying that they didn't want any identifying information to be revealed, although some of them were okay with other elements. But yes, it is something that ultimately there's a reason why these things are kept sealed. There's a reason why it only should be for the eyes of the grand jury, which we know are assembled in secret. But at the same time, we are supposed to have confidence that the DOJ is giving us everything it can, or telling us everything it can, that it is going to provide this information or seek to.
I just need to point out that this guy's green screen is he needs to get like a actual green screen behind him or something like that, because it you can tell.
Get the information from the judge. So it seems to me that this is something that the DOJ should have known from the outset.
Okay.
And that's something that federal prosecutors have been saying is very commonplace, that you're just not going to get any judge to let this information be used unless it's going to be for the furtherance of a separate case that gets brought by the government. It's very material use cases. Okay. And that is the end all be all here. Now, we do know that the DOJ has more information that is seized, but that is a whole other story in and of itself.
Yeah, you know, Caitlin, I've been asking you, our legal analysts who come on almost every night for the last 2 months, and I've been asking them time and again, what could be revealed in grand jury testimony or transcripts that was not already divulged and revealed at Ghislaine Maxwell's trial? The judge kind of agrees with that question here. So he said this in his ruling. He wrote that after privately reviewing the grand jury transcripts, he privately reviewed them. The judge said anyone familiar with the evidence from her trial would, quote, learn next to nothing new and would, quote, come away feeling disappointed and misled. He even kind of belittled, that's the term the Associated Press uses, belittling the DOJ, saying that the DOJ's argument that releasing these materials might reveal new information about Epstein or Maxwell's crimes, he called that premise, quote, demonstrably false here. So the judge really kind of going after the DOJ, saying there is no there there. This judge is saying that there is no there there.
Yeah, and it's something that I think that as we get more into the third and final request here, it'll be interesting to see if there's any difference in the way that that situation shakes down either, because that involves a defendant who is now dead, Jeffrey Epstein. But what I think is going to be even more interesting going forward is how this becomes, and already has been for several.
This whole fucking ordeal. What a clusterfuck. Jesus Christ. Just to get some transparency from the government. People don't even care necessarily about the dude in this case. Now it's just about the fucking transparency of the government. Oh, man, it's so frustrating. All right, let's go ahead and get into the next story here. We have regarding China. Trump extends China tariff deadline by 90 days. Definitely not surprised by that, by the way. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Whoops, I had it, and then I literally pulled out of it. That's great. I'm going to go it back into my history here. I hate when I do stupid shit like that. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. Give me a sec. I got to pull it back up onto the screen. All right.
Now from Fox, I'm Andrew Kraft. So what we want to do right now, there are a couple of major economic headlines we have to get to. We're going to do that with our friends and colleagues there at the American Institute for Economic Research, including the one and only Lydia Mashburn-Newman. She joins me. Lydia, thanks for being on with us. I know it's a little late, but we have a lot to get to. So let's start off with really the breaking news. This is the most recent development in the tariff and trade wars going on, and it has to do with China, of all places. No wonder here. So in the meantime, we do have another update, another delay, 90-day delay that the president is announcing to levy more tariffs on the Chinese. Another delay. Why do you think that is? What does this have to do with?
So yes, we've got another 90-day delay that prevents those 145% tariffs on Chinese goods and 125% on U.S. goods to China. I think a lot of it has to do with continuing negotiations. The president has said that he's had good constructive conversations with President Xi Jinping. And I do think that there could be some involvement of where the U.S. might stand on chip manufacturing and export to China. That may be wrapped up in some of that conversation as well. And so I think, and then you also have some concerns about the holidays and prices of goods as we approach the holidays. So I think there are a number of considerations. So it might not be entirely surprising that there's been another extension, even though we were told no more extensions. But it does seem that there are some negotiations still to be had, and we're going to pay very close attention to what materializes out of that.
You know, it's so funny. I mean, having covered the tariff story since April 2nd, it seems like you have the dominating tariff headline and then the sub.
Well, I'm just surprised that Trump hasn't come out with a tweet. You know what I mean? Oh, he does. He has. Oh, wait. Yeah. This is the tweet right here. So forget what this chick's got to say. I mean, respectfully.
When Trump made it official today, issuing this 90-day delay, he says, I've just signed an executive order that will extend the tariff suspension on China for another 90 days.
Shit. Real quick, we got Gorilla Biscuits up at the building. My man GB, great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday. Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out with us, by the way.
All other elements of the agreement will remain the same. He says, thank you for your attention to this matter. Lydia, is China getting a pass from the Trump administration? Or are they getting special treatment? Are we handling them more delicately than other nations in the trade negotiations here? It seems like they're getting a lot of latitude on the China question. Would you agree?
It does seem in relation to some other trade partners that there is an increasing amount of latitude. That's maybe a good way of putting it. But we have to keep in mind that China is one of our three largest trading partners. So there is a lot to lose potentially on both sides for not getting this right and for damaging those trade relationships. And so I think that that's something that's factoring into the White House thinking and negotiations, that this one...
What are you talking about? At one point, we were throwing 400% over on China. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
Maybe needs to be treated a little bit more gingerly. You also have a number of national security concerns as well. So you have a lot of different interests in relation to trade with China on a number of different parameters. So a lot of these trade deals, they take a lot of time to put together, usually years, and we're trying to put these together in months. And so, and really it was attempted to do it in days, but we've given everyone mostly at least a month to 3 months to now we keep doing extensions. But I think the China deal is probably a little bit more complicated. And so that's reflected in the amount of time it may take to negotiate along all parameters.
Okay, so Lydia, while I have you, we do have some more kind of U.S.-China adjacent headlines. There was a major, what we call scoop, that's an exclusive, in the Financial Times over the weekend regarding China export licenses and chipmaker NVIDIA here. So this is how the Financial Times reports this. So this is what we know. According to this piece, they say NVIDIA and AMD have agreed to give the U.S. government 15% of the revenues from chip sales in China, as they say.
Wow.
part of an unusual arrangement with the Trump administration to obtain export licenses for the semiconductors. They say this: the quid pro quo arrangement is unprecedented. And according to export control experts that they spoke with, no U.S. company has ever agreed to pay a portion of their revenues to obtain export licenses here. So I think we got to start from the beginning. What is an export license? Why does NVIDIA need to obtain one from the U.S.?
Yeah, no fucking kidding there, Glare. Man, fuck this shit. This working shit. I need to hit the lotto. I get you, bro. Much love, honor, and respect to you, kind sir. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day and try not to overwork yourself, kind sir. All right. Absolutely crazy.
So export licenses
actually
are.
I'll let her finish this bit, and then we're going to go into the EU regarding Ukraine.
And managed primarily by the State Department, usually along national security concerns, where they will restrict or allow certain trades to go through and license a company to do business in countries that may be of a national security interest. And typically those go through the State Department for approval, though it is not unprecedented that those get some input from the Department of Commerce, for example, or the Department of Energy if you're dealing with some sensitive energy materials. And even sometimes these licenses are not even approved. They have to go all the way up to the President of the United States. So that part is not necessarily unprecedented, needing to have an export license. The thing that is very unique in this situation is the export levy, the revenue sharing component of this. The U.S. has had probably pay to play in much more understated ways, sort of incentivizing businesses to behave in certain ways and to potentially contribute in campaigns or other ways of potentially benefiting the politically well-connected.
I'm not surprised by that.
This is somewhat unusual in that the federal government itself is saying in order to play in the Chinese space, you have to pay us a portion of your revenues. And that in itself is very unprecedented, and arguably it may be unconstitutional.
So, Lydia, yeah,
that's crazy. Interesting. No need for further breakdown, though. We're going to go ahead and move on into our last story lineup here. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Good morning. It's
Shit.
Tuesday, August 12th. I'm Jeanne Francine here with you for the next few hours to give you all of your breaking news alerts, top stories, and your live events of the day. As we come on the air bright and early this Tuesday, we do want to begin with the very latest as it relates to the Trump presidency. Take a look at your screen, the latest information we are getting in this morning, courtesy of our content partners over at the Associated Press. They report European leaders appealing this Tuesday to U.S. President Donald Trump to defend their security interests at a key summit with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, later this week as it relates to the war in Ukraine. The Europeans are desperate to exert some influence over that Friday meeting that they say they have been sidelined from. It remains unclear whether even Ukraine will take part. President Donald Trump has said that he wants to see whether Putin is serious about ending the war now in its fourth year. But Trump has disappointed U.S. allies in Europe by saying that Ukraine will have to give up some Russian-held territory. He also said that Russia must accept land swaps, although it remains unclear what Putin might be expected to surrender. The Europeans and Ukraine are weary that Putin, who has waged the biggest land war in Europe since 1945 and used Russia's energy, might try to cow the EU, might secure favorable concessions, and even set the outlines of a peace deal without them. AP goes on to report this morning the overarching fear for European countries is that Putin will set his sights on one of them next if he wins in Ukraine. In a statement early this Tuesday, the leader said, quote, that they welcome the efforts of President Donald Trump towards ending Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, but they underlined, quote, the path to peace in Ukraine cannot be decided without Ukraine.
I honestly don't think so. Well, him going over there actually end the conflict and Putin agree to something. If it did happen, I would be just shocked. I would be shocked. There's no way. I mean, I just don't think that this is going to... I mean, we'll probably get some intel, much needed intel from the whole situation, talking to him. I think that we should be meeting up with him. I think we should be doing that with any type of enemy or whatever. I think we should be able to have those sit downs. But do I think anything like actually the end of the war is going to happen? Absolutely not.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying he rejects the idea that Ukraine must commit to give up land to secure a ceasefire. And I actually want to share with you the very latest from the Ukrainian president on this Tuesday morning. He put this out about 10 minutes ago before we came on the broadcast. So this is the very latest information from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. It's not all there on your screen, but I will read it to you in full. Again, this coming on X, formerly known as Twitter. It says, quote, I am grateful to the leaders of Europe for their clear support of our independence, territorial integrity, and precisely such an active approach to diplomacy that can help in this war with a dignified peace.
Real quick, we got Brother So Loud. No, you're all good, my man. You're working and listening, man. I respect and appreciate you just listening, man, for real. So don't even worry about that.
He goes on to say, quote, indeed, we all support President Trump's determination, and together we must shape positions that will not allow Russia to deceive the world once again. We see that the Russian army is not preparing to end the war. On the contrary, they are making movements that indicate preparations for new offensive operations. In such circumstances, it is important that the unity of the world is not threatened. Zelensky goes on to say, quote, issues related to the security of Ukraine and Europe are discussed by all of us together.
Yes, sir, GB. She has been taking a little bit of a break from the internet, but she'll be back. She's all good in that regard, so I appreciate that. God bless you as well, and we'll see you on the flip side, my man. Always appreciate you hanging out with us.
Add to our joint security capabilities. And if Russia refuses to stop the killings, it must be held accountable. As long as they continue the war and occupation, all of us together must maintain our pressure. The pressure of strength, the pressure of sanctions, the pressure of diplomacy. Zelensky finalizes his tweet by saying, quote, I thank everyone who is helping. Peace through strength. Of course, as we continue to follow this developing story, again, if you're just now tuning in, EU leaders appealing to U.S. President Donald Trump to defend security interests at that summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, hoping to find a way to end the war in Ukraine. Now, whether the talks include Ukraine, that's still an open question this morning. Right now, we want to check in with Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen. He has the very latest from New York.
I'm going in to speak to Vladimir Putin. And I'm going to be telling him, you got to end this war. You got to end it.
For the first time in almost a decade, Russian President Vladimir Putin...
You got to end it. Yeah, Trump... Putin he ain't... It's not the way it's going to work out. I think you think it's going to work out one way, but I don't... Yeah. You got to end it.
On U.S. soil, Alaska, a former Russian territory, will be the site of the highly anticipated summit.
We'll see on the flip
side. So far,
side.
there are no plans for Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky or other European leaders to join, but they are expected to be in close contact before and after.
We're going to change the lines, the battle lines. Russia's occupied a big portion of Ukraine. They've occupied some very prime territory. We're going to try and get some of that territory back for Ukraine.
Russia currently occupies about 20% of Ukraine and most of its coastline. Zelensky has been resistant
20%
to ceding any territory to Putin.
The war must end as soon as possible with a just peace.
A joint statement from the leaders of European countries like the UK, Germany, and France read, quote, we are convinced that only an approach that combines active diplomacy, support to Ukraine, and pressure on the Russian Federation to end their illegal war can succeed. More than 3 years into the war, the fighting continues, with Russian bombs injuring at least a dozen people in Ukraine over the weekend.
Damn.
President Trump says he is willing to join meetings between Putin and Zelensky if the two leaders want him there. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Fox News. I hate when he does that shit. I hate when he does that. We don't need any other further breakdown.
Connor, thank you so much.
But yes, President Trump to meet with Russian President Putin in Alaska this week. Yep. And we'll be giving you guys, of course, all of those updates as they come along, of course. It's what we do here on Insane Wheels, man. I very much appreciate everybody for hanging out this morning. I'm always very appreciative of you guys hanging out and engaging with the content. And let me know what your guys' thoughts are, man. That's the best part about this shit is it's a two-way street. You know, I always envisioned watching the news as a kid. I was like, I wish I could say something to them and they could say something back to me. And now we live it. No joke, you know. So very appreciative of all of that and all of you guys. Alrighty, you guys. We'll see you guys here in a little bit. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for the World's Madness. You know, as we always do. Stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our buddy CT, Chaotic Truth. Let him know we're coming through with Mike Ball raid and hanging out. It's always entertaining as fuck. He always has some sort of crazy ass, topics and people talking up there. And people just speak their piece, bro. It's fucking radical. It's a great environment. Provo, I very much appreciate that, kind sir. Always appreciate that. Alrighty, you guys, I'm going to head out of here. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only Maxwell can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.